Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. My name is Kyle. In tonight's video, Thursday night, we got a game in about 45 minutes. The Cleveland Browns and the Denver Broncos. We'll get to a bunch of start-sit questions in a bit. I did post a ton of news blurbs. Today was a wild, rapid-fire kind of day, and I know everybody's stressing about these bye weeks. So we'll get to all the questions and stuff in the beginning. I guess, in a little bit. I just want to read some of the more important headlines that we saw today. Alex Collins, and it's tough with the Seahawks playing on Monday Night Football. He did not practice today. I think I'm going to plan to be without Alex Collins. If you guys have questions on him, let me know. Jerry Jeudy likely to return Week 8. For the Browns-Broncos game tonight, Teddy Bridgewater is active, and so is Odell Beckham. I'm not sure I'm excited to get Odell Beckham in my lineup, but again, with the bye weeks, emergencies happen. Maybe you need to get OBJ in the lineup. Preston Williams limited for the Dolphins game. Travis Kelce limited with a neck injury. I think he's going to be fine. I think they're just being cautious with him. I see Harris here has a question. Good evening, Harris. He's asking if Rob Gronkowski will play. I don't think he's going to play. They said that he was, again, very close last week to playing. But Rob Gronkowski, I don't know. Like today he was doing some light. I think I saw him doing just some light stuff on the side. He didn't really practice, but he was in shorts and doing some running and things like that. So I'm planning to be without Rob Gronkowski. If you need a tight end, maybe OJ Howard can be the guy for you. Let's go to the next page here. Henry Ruggs, full practice. Bryan Edwards, full practice. I like Henry Ruggs this week. He's starting to be an interesting player for wide receiver 3 flex consideration. No Damien Williams at practice, so it's looking like it could be Khalil Herbert getting another start here. I don't like the matchup against the Buccaneers, but we'll see here. Allen Robinson limited, Chase Edmonds limited. Tua Tagovailoa, just being cautious. He was limited on Thursday. Devontae Parker has logged 2 straight limiteds in a row. Looks like he might be on track to play this week. And T.Y. Hilton did not participate. Tons of news. Terrace Marshall not practicing with a concussion. Deontay Harris not seen in the opening portion for practice on Thursday here. Taysom Hill not practicing. Traquan Smith, though, if you guys need something, maybe Monday Night Football, Traquan Smith. I'm not sure he's going to play. Well, I'm curious to see his snap counts, but this is the guy maybe worth holding on to at the end of your bench if you have the room. Evan Ingram, not practicing with a calf issue. That's concerning, especially if you're banking on him starting for your tight end spot this week. Sterling Shepard limited in practice today. I don't know if that was just a flare-up with the hamstring or just an easy rest kind of day for him, but that's concerning. Trey Lance, probably not going to start on Sunday night. It's going to be Jimmy Garoppolo. The Eagles activated Dallas Goedert from the COVID list. Again, Jimmy Garoppolo probably going to start. A.J. Brown, he's got food poisoning, so he's probably going to play. He does have food poisoning, and he's working through that right now. Julio Jones returned to practice today. And then the Washington football team, Terry McLaurin returned to practice, and Curtis Samuel still not practicing for the football team. Sammy Watkins not practicing. That's an interesting one with Rashad Bateman. I've been getting a lot of Bateman questions. Latavius Murray not practicing. I don't think he's going to play in this one. Let me see what else we got. Tyreek Hill. They're just being cautious with Tyreek Hill. He's probably going to be playing. He's just it's the same thing last week. He practiced on Friday, so tomorrow's a very important day for Tyreek. More Washington news. Ricky Seals-Jones practice, and so did Antonio Gibson. So with that, I'm going to go over to the start sits, and let's take a peek at some of these questions. Good evening to Justin. Good evening to Harris. Is Penny worth a pickup? I'm not a big Rashad Penny guy. Especially with it being his first game back. I just don't know if I trust him. I've been a Rashad Penny fan in the past, and it just seems like every time I get excited, I get disappointed again. So I think the Seattle Seahawks back to own would be DJ Dallas, especially if you play PPR. And that is interesting. I don't get that. Herbert or Hunter Henry or Melvin Gordon. I'm probably going to rule Herbert out in that tough matchup against the Buccaneers. Melvin Gordon's a safe 8 to 10 points. I probably would roll with Hunter Henry, though. He's been playing well. He's been catching touchdowns. I think Hunter Henry would probably be the guy. But if you want to just lock, again, it's raining tonight, high winds. Maybe it's a Melvin Gordon game. So I'm going to say Melvin Gordon. Good evening to Aiden. Does it help or hurt Mitchell that Jimmy G is starting? Probably helps him, because Trey Lance does a lot of running and eats up a lot of plays on his own. I think it's better for Elijah Mitchell that Jimmy G would be playing. Can I drop Tyler Boyd? That depends who for. I mean, I still believe in Tyler Boyd, and with the tough matchup against the Ravens this week, Jamar Chase might be kind of, I can't remember. Is it Marlon Humphrey? He's been kind of shutting down opponents' wide receivers this week. So I could see T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd having a good game. I personally, I'd hold on to Tyler Boyd. I'm not going to start him, but I'm willing to hold on to him. I mean, who knows if there's another injury to Higgins or Chase or something, he could be pretty useful again. So try to hold on to Tyler Boyd if you can. But I guess, Harris, you play in a lot of non-PPR, so maybe that does make sense. It depends on who you're trying to pick up. So I guess if you have someone that you like that you're going to pick up, let me know in the comments. I could see. I feel good about Javonte. I feel good about Melvin. I feel good about Sutton, Tim Patrick, and Noah Fant. I think the Broncos' offense is going to. It's not going to be pretty, but they're all going to get their floor points. I think tonight. Would you rather have Tyler Boyd or Rob Gronkowski? It depends. If you have a top 5 tight end already, assuming you're probably Kelsey and Darren Waller, of course, are different animals. I don't know if I need Gronk, but if you're going to be flexing Gronk, especially in a non-PPR, that could make sense. So in that case, because I just know you play a lot of non-PPR, maybe Gronkowski makes a little bit more sense for us tonight. And then, yeah, it's that sweet overlap of basketball. There's some baseball, and then the football. Thursday night's a good time for sports. So I'm going to open up the start-sit charts. I'm just going to kind of barrel through these real quick and just kind of show you guys the obvious plays. Denver, Cleveland, man, it's going to be ugly. I'm going to skip it. I've already kind of covered that in other things here. But Denver, Cleveland, it's going to be rainy. It's going to be sloppy. It's going to be windy. But the first game on Sunday here that we got going on is the Washington football team at the Green Bay Packers. You're starting Rodgers, Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams, no problem. With Green Bay, I've seen Green Bay. They're favored between 8 and 10 points. It depends on what sportsbook you use, but they're favored to win by more than one score. So maybe A.J. Dillon, again, with the bye week problems that everyone's having, maybe you're using A.J. Dillon as a running back 2 flex. I think that could make some sense to me. I'm probably going to try to start the Packers defense if you're in a pinch, but Tunyon, Randall Cobb, Allen Lazard, these guys are all just with Rodgers going up against the football team. He could end up throwing 4 touchdowns, maybe even 5. Who knows? He does that from time to time. So it's a dart throw with Tunyon, Cobb, and Lazard. But if you need it, one of those guys could provide a boom for you. On the Washington side, Taylor Heineke, it's starting to fizzle out. He's more of a quarterback 2 for Superflex leagues. J.D. McKissick's probably my favorite play in this game. Again, with Washington being they should be trailing. They should be throwing the ball to play catch up. McKissick in a PPR league makes a lot of sense. Terry McLaurin, wide receiver 2. Green Bay's cornerbacks are not healthy right now. Ricky Seals-Jones, I'm going to put him in as a tight end 1. And then you got Antonio Gibson, who returned to practice today. So if Gibson plays, I'm trying to get him in my lineup. You can't really be too picky with the 6 teams on bye this week. Say no to the Washington defense. Keep an eye out for Jarrett Patterson. If Gibson gets hurt, I still think Jarrett Patterson's going to probably come in and sometimes he should compete with McKissick for carries. It's hard for me to predict who's going to lead the team in carries if Gibson were to go down, but Patterson, a little bit of a bigger back. I can see him getting, up to 10 touches. And then Humphreys, Diami Brown, Curtis Samuel, no thank you. Let me see what we got here. And sometimes, especially with the Packers playing at home, that's usually when Rodgers has some of those games. So it's not looking good. It's a really good matchup for the Packers passing offense as the Washington football team just really is struggling in that department. Tua and Waddle against the Falcons. I like that. I like that stack this week. What should I do with Sermon, Robbie Anderson, and Alexander Madison, non-PPR? I'm probably going to – so the thing with Alexander Madison, it's tough because, Minnesota's on bye. Dalvin Cook's going to get healthier, so a week of rest. So basically, we're burning up a roster spot with Alexander Madison with the idea that maybe Dalvin Cook gets injured at some point, right? So he's kind of a roster clog, but we know that when Cook is out, Alexander Madison equals RB1. For me, Sermon and Robbie Anderson, I'm probably not trying to dabble with these guys much any longer. So if you have options on the waiver wire that you like more than Sermon and Robbie Anderson, I wouldn't feel too bad about letting them go. But I'll hold on to Madison. Darrell Williams, James Conner, Dearness, PPR. I'm going to go with Darrell. Darrell Williams is attached to the Chiefs offense. That I would rank them in the order that you typed them. Darrell, Conner, Dearness. Damien Harris, Devontae Smith, Browns, RBs, or Corey Davis. This one's easy. I'm going to go with Damien Harris against the Jets. Harris played well against them. What did Harris do against the Jets earlier this year? I believe he scored a TD. So against the Jets earlier, he had 62 yards and a touchdown, racked up 16 carries. He's playing good. I'm going to just roll with the safe play and Damien Harris there. We got the Chiefs and the Tennessee Titans. Titans played a hell of a game against the Buffalo Bills last week. You're starting Mahomes, you're starting Darrell Williams, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. I think Mecole Hardman has some interest, just especially this week with the buys. He's got some wide receiver 3 flex appeal. I'm going to say no to both defenses in this one. I can't trust Marcus Robinson, Byron Pringle, Jerick McKinnon, Josh Gordon. For the Titans, it's really simple. Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry. If A.J. Brown somehow can't play, I'll back off Ryan Tannehill as a QB1. But A.J. Brown, he's still dealing with that food poisoning. But he played through it last week. I would expect him to not practice too much and be able to play on Sunday. So we have to watch his reports. If Brown's in, I like Tannehill as a fringe quarterback 1 this week. And then we're watching the health of Julio Jones. If Julio even plays, I don't know if I trust it. It's the hamstrings, man. I don't want to start a guy that plays a series and then has to sit the rest of the game. So he's not on my rosters this week. Maybe Chester Rogers in deeper leagues, but trust the studs in this one. It should be a fun game. It's projected 57.5 points, so that's the highest I've seen all season. Do I think? Hold on, let me get caught up here. Should I stash Dalton Schultz and Deshaun Watson on PPR? So the Watson thing, it depends on who your quarterback already is. If you already have a top 5 quarterback, pretty much you're stashing Watson for trade value. And Dalton Schultz, I think, should be stashed. That's going to remain a thing. Michael Gallup does return next week. That could complicate some things, but he's been playing way too well. So I prefer stashing Schultz. Watson's kind of a need-based thing. If you have a Kyler Murray, if you have Mahomes, I don't really see the need for it. I mean, if you got a guy like Tannehill or Tua or Matt Ryan as your quarterback, then it makes sense to stash Watson. And the thing with Watson too, the trade deadline is November 2nd, and we're literally 13, 12 days away from that. So you really only have to hold on to him for 2 more weeks, and then we can cut bait if he doesn't get traded. You think Duncan can get 15 points tonight? Yeah, I'll give Duncan 15. He usually plays pretty well against the Bucks. 10-team PPR, flex, Shep, James Conner, Landry. So Shepard was limited at practice today. If Shepard plays, I want Shepard in my lineup. And I would rank them as you have them: Shepard, Connor, Landry. I'm going to just avoid Landry tonight. His first game back, I think it's kind of hard to trust him, especially in a game where it's probably 20 to 25 mile per hour winds and raining. So give me Shep, give me Connor. Yeah, A-Rob, man, if he doesn't get it done this week, we can probably shut it down, but we'll worry about that later. This is probably a good play too. Schultz is a top 5 tight end right now. I don't view him as that. If you can sell him for someone, and if you're looking for a tight end specifically, I mean, you're talking maybe George Kittle. You could maybe see what the George Kittle owner's thinking. You could probably look at some similar tight ends around there. But his value to me, again, so a top 5 tight end, probably equal to like a top 25, top 30 wide receiver, same like a top 25 running back. So his value, you got to kind of, I know he's a tight end 1, but tight ends don't really have that much value outside of Kelce and Waller and Kittle. So he's probably a guy, he's probably worth a starting flex player. So I would start to look at that. Guys that are probably projected 10 to 12 points per week. Do I need him if I have Matthew Stafford? Probably not, man. I mean, hold on, I'm looking up the Rams. The Rams have one of the juiciest schedules coming up. So they get the Lions this week, the Texans next week, the Titans, the 49ers, the Packers, the Jaguars. Stafford's going to be balling. So I don't really see a need here for Deshaun Watson on your team. Flex, A.J. Brown, Sutton, Mike Davis. I'm probably going to pull Sutton. I know he's been playing well. I'd rather wait to see if A.J. Brown's going to play. If A.J. Brown plays, I want him in my lineup. Otherwise, I'm totally cool with starting Mike Davis because he's got a safe floor of 10 to 12 PPR points. So I would rank them A.J. Brown, Davis, and then Sutton. It's a weird game tonight. Anything could happen. And lately for me, Thursday nights have just been terrible. I have not had much luck on Thursday night, so I try to back out if I can. Hollywood Brown, Mike Evans, Terry, Jamar Chase, Sterling start 3 PPR. Okay. If Sterling plays, I have a hard time not playing him. I like Terry against Green Bay. So those two are my guys. Hollywood Brown against the Bengals feels pretty good. So the trouble with Mike Evans, and sometimes I get Mike Evans questions, and I just say, you drafted Mike Evans in the 4th round. You kind of just got to leave him there because you know that he has the upside of 30 points pretty much every week, and you know that his floor is about 5 points, which is frustrating, but you don't want to miss it. He's kind of the Tyler Locket of last year and the years past. So I lean towards wanting to keep Evans in my lineup every week just because of that ceiling. Really, man, you're looking at 3 really you got 5 awesome receivers here. So maybe I'm kind of nervous about Jamar Chase this week lining up against Marlon Humphrey. So he's probably the one I'm least excited about. So if you want the safe answers, Sterling, if Sterling plays, I'm getting him in. So I'll rank him at the top. I like Terry as number 2, and I kind of like Evans and then Hollywood and then Chase last. 10-team PPR flex: Jacobs, Waddle, Devonta, AB, Patterson, D'Ernest. It's Patterson. It's Patterson or Waddle. I don't think Antonio Brown plays, so it's between Patterson and Waddle. Get someone in that game. If Devontae Parker is out, I really like Waddle, but Patterson's been so safe, man. I feel comfortable with CPAT. I think you can get Moss or Clyde Edwards. That's pretty good value. I think the Clyde owner could, if they need a tight end, man, that's a good option for you. I would take Moss or Clyde, whatever one you prefer. That's pretty good. Yeah, you got Pitts there. That's pretty good thinking. Melvin Gordon or Josh Jacobs. Give me Josh Jacobs against Philadelphia. I trust Josh Jacobs a little bit more. He's playing good. He's healthy. I'm going to roll with Josh Jacobs. You can get Galladay or Singletary for Schultz. Galladay or Singletary for Schultz. I don't know how much I love Singletary. I'd prefer Galladay. I know he's dinged up. If you could get Moss or Clyde, I think I would go with those two first. You're flexing Chuba all day. He's got that volume. Good matchup against the Giants. You're flexing Chuba Hubbard. But let me cover the Falcons and the Miami Dolphins real quick. We do have. I'm going to probably sign off at the top of the hour here, so we got about 13 more minutes left in this live stream. But Falcons Dolphins. I think Matt Ryan's a fringe quarterback 1 this week. He looks best as a QB2. You're trying to get Cordero Patterson in your lineup, Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts, and Mike Davis. I want these guys in my lineups. The Dolphins are giving up the most PPR points right now to opposing players. Say no to the defense. Russell Gage, Hayden Hurst, Alameda Zaccheaus. No, thank you. Tua Tagovailoa, just with his rushing upside, I think he's a top 10, top 12 option this week. Atlanta doesn't really have a good defense either, so this one could get out of hand with some high-scoring points. Jalen Waddle, you're trying to find a way to get him in as your wide receiver 3 flex. Mike Gesicki is a top 5, top 10 tight end option. Gaskin and Devontae Parker, I'm leaning towards saying no to Gaskin, but if Parker plays, I'm kind of interested in Parker just with the nature of the matchup and the bye weeks. No thank you to both defenses, Malcolm Brown, Salvin Ahmed, Matt Collins, Preston. It's all kind of just mumbled down here. So some fun options. I like the Atlanta's 5 guys up here. Tua, Waddle, Gesicki are my favorites here. And if Parker plays, I'm kind of interested in Devontae Parker. But let's take a look here. Pittman, Boyd, Collins, Renfro, Hardman. Probably not Boyd. Probably not. I don't think Collins plays. So it's Hardman, Renfro, Pittman that we're looking at here. Miko Hardman's been playing good. From what I saw with the weather in San Francisco, it does not it's like a monsoon kind of Sunday night vibe here. So I'm kind of nervous about Pittman. I'm probably gonna. So it's between Renfro and Hardman for you. If you want to lock in the safe 8 to 10 points, it's Renfro. If you want that Chiefs again, the Chiefs Titans game, man, there's projected 57.5 total points in that one. I'm probably gonna lean with Hardman. Is it worth getting at the wide receiver position for who is worth getting at the wide receiver position for Tyler Lockett? Okay. Interesting question. Let me actually take a peek here real quick. I just want to see what receivers are in Tyler Lockett's range, because people, when you go to make a trade, people are going to look at what they have been doing, where they're ranked. So far he is, doesn't say what wide receiver. He's number 24. I think at this point I would take Emmanuel Sanders if I can get Sanders for Tyler Lockett. I think I'm doing that. You're attaching yourself to Josh Allen. So like, what's the difference? Tyler Lockett's the number 2 in Seattle with Geno Smith, or would you want the number 2 for Josh Allen right now? I think I would prefer Sanders. Look at Robert Woods, maybe even Jalen Waddle. If I can get Waddle on my team, I think I would try with those names. Maybe even Keenan Allen, who's been somewhat disappointing. I would look right in the neighborhood of these players here. Tyler Lockett's got a higher name tag than Sanders and Waddle, so maybe that works. Moss or Clyde. I'm nervous about Clyde because Darrell Williams is playing so well. I don't know if he's going to get that job, that whole full job back. So it's probably Moss. Probably Moss. I know Singletary played good the other night too, but it's probably Moss for me. Real quick on the Jets Patriots. If you need a flex for the Jets, Carter, Davis, Crowder, these are the only names you need to look at here. I'm going to lean towards not getting these guys in my lineup. I'm going to say no to the Jets defense. Zach Wilson, Elijah Moore, Ty Johnson. It's very unattractive to get the Jets in our lineups this week. I do think if you have room at the end of your bench, again, the NFL trade deadline is November 2nd. So if Jamison Crowder were to get moved, Elijah Moore is going to step up, and he's a guy I think that's worth holding on to at the end of your bench. The Patriots side, Mac Jones is a quarterback 2 for Superflex. I'm getting Damien Harris in all my lineups. I want to get Jacoby Myers, Hunter Henry in my lineups for sure. Nelson Aguilar is just a kind of a dart throw at the flex. You're starting the Patriots defense for sure, and then just kind of ignore these bench guys down here. Let me see what we got here. What's Hill and DJ Moore value for trying to trade them? What's the goal here, Justin? Are you looking to trade Tyreek and DJ? I mean, I would want to hold on to them if I can. Who can I get? Who can I get if I added Dalton Schultz? So I mean, if you're looking to trade for a tight end right now, Dalton Schultz is the tight end number 3. You're not going to get Waller, Andrews, or Kelsey for him. I think best bet, you talk to Fant, you talk to Hawkinson owners if you're trying to flip him. But again, so here's the thing. Dalton Schultz, he's averaging 14.2 points per game at the tight end spot. So we need to look at the flexes. I'm going to click by averages here, and I just want to see who's averaging around those amount of points. So he's right below Keenan Allen, Tyler Lockett. I think if you could get Emmanuel Sanders, I'd probably entertain that. Robert Woods, Jalen Waddle, guys like this. You're probably not going to get a guy you're super excited about. You're probably getting a wide receiver 3 flex play at best. So you kind of want to look at the projections that a tight end is getting and view that as, okay, that's my running back 2 or my wide receiver 3 numbers to look for here. And if I could trade Hill, what can I get for him? Let me go back here. I mean, if you're trading Tyreek Hill, he's the number 3 scorer, I guess, so far in points per game. So you're potentially able to get a top running back, whether that's Najee Harris, Cordero Patterson, or Austin Eckler. You're getting a top 5 running back with Tyreek Hill. And then if you're trading Tyreek Hill, you should be shooting for Cooper Kupp. You should be shooting for Devontae Adams. You should be shooting for some of these stud playmakers. So Tyreek's at the top of the game. You should be expected to get top of the game numbers. And then for DJ Moore, I mean, he's down here, 18.2 points per game. I think if you want to sell him for Darrell Henderson, again, we looked at the Rams schedule. I think DJ Moore for Darrell Henderson makes sense. Talk to the Swift owner, talk to the Lamb owner. Maybe I think DK Metcalf's still going to be fine, even with Geno Smith and Russell Wilson's coming back soon. I mean, DK Metcalf hit double digits last week, 7 targets. You can possibly buy low on DK Metcalf. Maybe DJ Moore for James Robinson. That's some of those names there. So I'm looking, again, if you're looking for trade partners, kind of just go to the flex tab and just look at the fantasy points averaging per game and try to find something similar, because that's what ultimately people are going to look at. They want to make sure the points are equal. What can I get for Locket and Dalton Schultz? So, Tyler Lockett and Dalton Schultz. So you're locking with when you get Lockett and Schultz, I view that as, okay, I get a potential top 5 tight end, and I'm getting a top 30, like a wide receiver 3. So with that price, you're probably looking at guys in this range, whether it's Jamar Chase, maybe, I don't know if you're going to get Justin Jefferson. That name's a little bit high, but Jamar Chase, Marquise Brown, Essentially, you're only able to upgrade Tyler Lockett maybe 10 spots or so. So if you're looking for a wide receiver, that's kind of what you're looking for. DJ Moore, I would go maybe talk about Darrell Henderson. I would say probably, again, what's Tyler Lockett averaging per game here? Lockett's averaging about 14.6. If you add in Dalton Schultz, you're probably going to end up getting somewhere between 18. I would look somewhere in this 18 points per game range. That's probably the guys that you might be able to pull off in a 2-for-1. Crowder to the Saints makes a lot of sense. I like that thought. 10-team PPR flex, Godwin, Shep, Landry, D'Ernest. It's Godwin, but if Shepard with the limited practice makes me nervous. If Shepard plays, I want Shepard in the lineup. Otherwise, I'll go Godwin. So those are the two I'm looking at. What's going on, man? Thanks for hanging out. I'm going to pass on OBJ. I just don't trust it. It's raining. It's 20-25-mile-per-hour winds. He was a game-time decision. Just give me Devonta Smith. I know we had a bad game last week, but I'm going to trust the healthy receiver here going up against the Raiders. Michael Carter, Gaskin, D'Ernest. This one's super easy. Darrell Williams all day. Who's the favorite in the Browns-Broncos game? Let me bust over to DraftKings real quick. I think the Browns are favored to win by like 2 points. Let me just look. Let's take a peek. The line might have changed. The Browns are favored to win by 1.5. Why did it just glitch? Browns by 1.5, and they lower the point total to 40. So Vegas is not liking this game for fantasy. Who would you start? Landry? Oh, would you start Landry over Pittman Jr.? That one's tough. It sounds like tonight's game and the Sunday Night Football game, like the weather in San Francisco. SF weather. It sounds like it's going to be a nasty game in San Francisco. So Sunday, like they're getting some monster rains over the weekend here. Sunday night's probably going to be a very similar weather night like tonight. So in this one, I don't feel good telling you to start Jarvis Landry like in his first game back. That makes me a little bit nervous in a game like tonight. But with Case Keenum, like, good things can happen. I'll probably go with Jarvis Landry here. 10-team PPR flex. DJ Moore, Cooks, Hollywood. I'll go DJ Moore. DJ Moore's got a high floor. I'll go DJ Moore. Speaking of DJ Moore, we're on the Panthers and the Giants right now. Darnold, just a quarterback 2 for Superflex leagues. I'm trying to get Chuba Hubbard in all my lineups, and DJ Moore is really the only. Like, it's Chuba and DJ Moore. Those are the assets for the Panthers. For the Giants, Daniel Jones, just a quarterback 2 Superflex leagues. If you have Devontae Booker, again, with all the bye weeks this week, Booker's got a high floor just because he's going to get 15 to 20 touches. So, like, he's interesting. He's not super exciting, but he's going to get volume. So that he's a probably 8 to 10 point floor for PPR leagues. Sterling Shepard, again, if he plays, he's in my lineup. Evan Ingram, I'm probably not going to play. I don't know. It sounded kind of nervous earlier today. And then it's kind of just, I don't know. The Giants are hard to trust, man. It's Shepard and Booker. Those are the only 2 names I'm really interested in. Pick 2, non-PPR. Jarvis, Michael Pittman, Tyler Lockett, Robbie Anderson, Kurt Jalen Waddle. Non-PPR. The 3 names that I like are Lockett, Kirk, and Waddle. I would skip tonight's game. Don't do tonight's game if you can. I would back out of it. I'm going to rank Waddle number 1. And then it's probably Christian Kirk number 2. Christian Kirk's been playing good. I'm going to go Waddle, Kirk, and Lockett as my top 3 options. So Waddle, Kirk are the top 2 answers for me. Cincinnati and the Baltimore Ravens real quick. I just want to show you guys on the fantasyfellowship.com. Let's go take a peek at the fantasy points allowed tabs. And I got another minute for you guys. I have to get out of here soon. I got some people coming over for the game tonight. So any final questions, get them fired up here. I just want to show you that the Baltimore Ravens are no joke against the wide receiver. They're one of the best teams against the wide receiver. They only allow 30 points per game to wideouts here. So I mean, if you look at Higgins, Chase, and Tyler Boyd, there's only 30 points to go around between the 3 of them. So I'm slightly nervous about these Bengals receivers. And then if you look at fantasy points allowed to running backs, the Ravens give up a lot of running back points. So I actually think Joe Mixon He's a running back one this week. Chase and Higgins, I'm trying to get them in my lineup. Boyd, I'm more nervous about. Ravens are pretty bad against the tight end, so Uzama could be a bye week fill-in for you. You're starting Lamar Jackson. You're starting Marquise Brown if you can. And Mark Andrews is, of course, locked in. It sounds like Sammy Watkins is not going to play, so maybe Rashad Bateman's of interest here. It sounds like Latavius Murray's not going to play, so I think Devonta Freeman could potentially be a low running back too here. He looked better than Le'Veon Bell last week, so it's ugly, but kind of a fun game here. Cincinnati got to prove it to themselves that they are worthy of a playoff bid this year, and if they beat Baltimore at Baltimore, I think teams will start taking this Bengal team more seriously. Let me see what we got here. Pick one, non-PPR. Sermon, Anderson, Pittman Jr., Jarvis Landry, Alex Collins. It's probably Jarvis Landry. It's probably Jarvis Landry in this one. It's between Landry or Pittman. I'm gonna go with Jarvis Landry. What's up, Philip? I'm 4-2, probably 4-3 after this week. How much do I focus on players with good schedules in playoffs week 15 through 17? Also, someone in my league dropped Kittle, have waiver number 3, but have Waller. Do I try to pick him up for a trade asset? I think so. Go ahead and do that. If you can get Kittle, do it. If you have a flex too, I mean, that could be a guy that you end up flexing 2 tight ends. And again, if anything happens to Waller, you got Kittle. So I would definitely go try and do that. If you get him, you get him. If not, that's okay. At least you tried. But now is a good. I'm glad you brought this question up. This will be the final thing we touched on before I get out of here. But weeks 15 through 17 are the fantasy championship weeks. If you are, again, Philip says he's 4-2. Who knows? He could be 5-2. So that could be kind of fun here. But if you want to start looking for players with really juicy schedules that you could be buying low and trading for, I think now's the time to start doing that before other teams start to look at that. So we are good, 2 months away from that. But man, the earlier you are, kind of the early bird gets the worm. So I like your thinking there, Philip. And then I hope you can get George Kittle. But that's it for tonight's show. If you guys got any questions, hit me up on Twitter at theFellowKGB, or just you can leave a comment in this video if you're rewatching it. But for sure, you can always find me on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, whatever you need. Thank you guys for watching the show tonight. Good luck with all your lineups. I hope it's a good game. It makes me nervous just with the weather and all the injuries to the Browns. So I hope Case Keenum can make it interesting. But yeah, that's about it. Good luck. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.